and welcome to Retrotainment. We're back with our 90s November, Greg's Choice, and as always, joined by my co-host, capital C, capital O, Greg. How are you doing, buddy?
What's happening, homie?
Nothing much, nothing much. Just continuing on with our Retrotainment podcast, obviously part of the Dynamo podcast network, where you'll find all the other shows, the Upper Tier, Red Devil's Report, Shankly Sessions, King Woe's Court, Retrotainment Recast.
On the slab.
There's a horror one. There's a horror one, isn't there? Oh,
The
do you know what the name of that is, Greg?
the gangster one.
Yeah, do you know what the name on that is by any chance?
I'm gonna say it just has to be on the slab, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. On the slab, that's the one, yeah. No, and obviously plenty of other great shows there as well. Dynamo's does in itself
The
as well.
single best network you can subscribe to.
Yeah, so don't forget to like it, share, and subscribe everything on YouTube and whatnot.
And we have it divided into playlists if music isn't your thing, or films, or
yeah, it's very easy to find what you're looking for. But we look back on things from the past, mainly films, pretty much. And this week we've taken a big one.
This is a biggie.
Yeah, Hook, one of my all-time favorites now.
I watch this at least 10 times a year.
I don't know if I watch it that much per year, but I definitely have it on it.
Within that, that's me saying I'll put it on and it'll be on in the background and I'll sit and watch parts of it and I'll go out and do something, come back and I'll watch it.
Yeah, I would definitely
brilliant.
say I have this on at least 3 or 4 times a year. I don't know what I want to watch. Hook will
and it's
do.
on Netflix.
Yeah, which always makes it a bit easier, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Release...
This is the single best Peter Pan movie. This is better than the cartoon. This is better than that one with Hugh Jackman.
Oh, I don't think I've seen the one with Hugh Jackman. I've only seen the cartoon and this one, I think.
It's called Pan.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I knew it wouldn't be as good, so I didn't bother.
It wasn't bad now, but it's not Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman good.
Yeah. Released on the 10th of April 1992, so right near the start of well, that's when it was released over here. I think it was released in 91 in the States. We were still getting shafted at the time.
It was definitely the summer blockbuster.
Yeah. As always, take just a quick look at the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes just to see what people have given it. So 66 critics gave it 29%.
What?
Yeah. Now the reason that they gave is it's too, American family values of, oh, the dad works real hard, and then, oh no, he's actually a great dad, and they didn't like that. And then
okay, yeah, that's fair, but
a few people said that it's all flash and no real story behind it, which that's utter bollocks, yeah, as well. So I really don't like. I tried to find what like a valid one, but again, it just seems like good guy wins. Didn't like that.
That's generally how these family films go, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, can you think of a family film when the good guy doesn't win?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't really know, and especially for as low as it gets now, the audience rating is definitely a lot higher. 76%.
Fuck those critics.
Yeah, 76% from the audience, which is
I thought might have been a bit higher.
No, I think we probably put it a lot higher because of nostalgic views on it. I'd say if you've never seen this before, it probably isn't going to be hitting a whole lot higher than that. It's still very good, but if it's not something that you watched in your youth and stuff, you probably don't have that connection to it.
I remember growing up, I had this, and it was another poor movie, Space Jam.
The greatest film ever made, yes, Space Jam, yeah.
I used to watch them quite regularly, and I used to have the Indian in the cupboard. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Oh, Jesus, I don't know if you'd get away with making that now.
Yeah, no, probably not, but that was a quality movie as well.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Box office wise, 300.9 million. So, it was a huge success. So you're talking Robin
Spielberg
Williams.
Done this, didn't he?
Spielberg did it, yeah. And, you're talking Robin Williams here at the height of his fame.
There was nobody else that was ever going to be cast for this.
No, and outside of him and then Dustin Hoffman.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah, Julia Roberts was probably on her way up at that point.
Bob Hoskins was definitely huge.
I think
huge, but he was as good as he got at this stage.
Yeah, I think there was only really the four mains. Like no one else was really a big name.
Maggie Smith is the nanny.
Oh geez, yeah, I do forget that she's Granny Wendy in this. Yeah, that's about it though. After that, they're all kind of just people on the up or people who you never
Didn't do
really hear
much.
of again. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's about it. Rufio done a couple of things, but nothing major.
Yeah, Rufio's always going to be his biggest thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, like you could turn around and say some people will argue if this is Robin Williams' best film.
Yeah, I would probably
Um,
put it up as his. Well, it's probably one of my favorites. I don't know if it's his best acting wise, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite.
yeah, acting wise, it has to be either Patch Adams or Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, either of those be right
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
It's not, Dustin Hoffman's a great actor, but this probably isn't even in his top 5 or 10.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Well, when you're the Rain Man, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I know he's great in this as well, though. Like he plays it off to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah. The film starts, the typical way. You have the dad who's kind of neglectful of his kids, taking phone calls at the school play, missing
I
his
love
son's
that. And you see him pulling the thing up and he's like, yeah, I'm at my kids' play.
the play that's about him, but he doesn't realize it's about him. And then he promises, I'll definitely be at your game tomorrow. And then he sends some guy to record it.
He sends Brad.
Yeah, Brad, go and record that. Which one's
Yeah, but
which
like
one's your son?
he was walking out the door.
Yeah, still sent your man ahead. Go do that, Brad. Good lad.
And then the little Joe with the phone.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
good. I did like that. The quickest draw.
Yeah.
But he ends up missing the game entirely. And when
I
he
don't know
gets home,
how,
I don't know. Yeah, just must have got distracted somewhere.
but I love the bit there where he's getting in the thing and you can see he's afraid of flying.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, what if it's my time to go? Wait, what if it's the pilot's time to go?
Yeah.
Don't let your arms get tired.
Yeah. What I like is that, yeah, we see that they're going to be flying over to England now to visit Granny Wendy.
Yeah.
And when they're on the plane, they see the picture Jack draws a picture of, there's mom in her parachute, me in my parachute.
So funny in this.
Me in my parachute, Maggie in her parachute. Where's my parachute? Oh, you didn't get one. You didn't go to my game, did you?
He's throwing the ball up and he's like, you're afraid and he's hitting the window. He's like, you're afraid you're going to get sucked out.
Yeah. It's so good. Like, it's just the typical,
I mean,
bratty little kid.
Those windows do have a tiny little hole in them.
I mean, yeah, but I also mean, like, if I was sitting next to that kid and he was pounding that ball off the window, I would be like, somebody, where's this lad's dad? Like, sort this out, will you?
You do an Arnie in Commando and just hit him a swift elbow.
Yeah, like I wouldn't, I'm not afraid I'm going to be sucked out of playing or anything, but I'd be like, God, I'm not listening to this for the whole journey from like 6 hours
or more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not listening to this the whole time because it would have been back in the 90s. Probably wouldn't even have been 6 hours. But they get to Granny Wendy's house and we get to meet Toodles.
I love Toodles.
He's lost his marbles, man.
I know he opens the door. Yeah.
I love that. He's like, I lost my marbles, which is obviously, the.
But see, you don't know any of this. If you haven't seen it, you don't know. It's just you just think he's mental.
Yeah, but he's lost his marbles is a euphemism kind of for
he's lost his mind.
He's addled. Like I just love how they use that little joke there.
It goes so easily over people's head.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch it as a kid. Like you're just like, what's this lad talking about? He's lost his marbles. What's he talking about?
Well, you must want my bag of marbles.
Yeah, but they go and they visit. Like Wendy comes down the stairs and she's asking them about their job.
I love this that Liza opens the door and he's like, Liza. He starts screaming, hugs the kids, and he keeps calling her Lisa.
Yeah, just keeps. Yeah, it's just never gonna change, But like Granny Wendy comes down and she hears about his job from Jack.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, so you're a pirate, Peter?"
He takes over other companies and blows them out of the water.
And it's a good little starting point that like Peter Pan versus the pirates, but now this guy is the pirate, and you're like, okay, let's see where this is going.
I'd have loved to have been old enough to see the build to this film.
Oh, I'd say it was something else, yeah.
Yeah, because Spielberg is a genius. Like we've seen what he's done and what he can do.
Yeah.
But I'd say they built this. I'd say they probably didn't even tell you this was about Peter Pan.
No, you were thinking you were going to get a film about Hook winning it.
Yeah.
Like all of it from Hook's perspective.
Yeah.
But I love this bit, like, because it's again, it's the typical thing of, dad who's very neglectful. He's on the phone trying to sort out business, and then he ends up shouting at the kids. when they're just having fun and
Yeah.
then
Well,
the
to be
wife.
fair, I can kind of understand that one. Like his deal has just gone down over a board, and it's
Yeah,
a $1 billion deal. Like,
yeah, I can understand them being annoyed, but like he then shouts at the kids, and then Moira just takes the phone and hoofs it out the window. You're like, oh, hang on now, mobile
hockey,
phones in the '90s, they would have been pricey. What are you doing?
hockey did out the
Yeah,
window. She did, and then you see Nana take it and bury it.
I love that little dog. What a beast.
The what is it? The paint is it Dulux paint dog?
Yeah, what a little beast.
Yeah,
They go upstairs, and Granny Wendy is showing the kids. This is where I first met Peter Pan, and at the window and everything. And Jack
I
kind of complains that his baseball is gone. I love that, like the foreshadowing there of my baseball is gone, and Maggie's like, yeah, the creepy guy at the window took it.
yeah.
But then it doesn't, like, no one references what she said. They all just kind of ignore her, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
whatever, shut up, you child, go to bed."
But what I love here is when she's even talking to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I played you in the school play."
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're like, the toys in it were brilliant.
yeah, but you see, it's always known that Wendy is meant to be the Wendy from the books,
Yeah,
because like she says, that their next door neighbor loved it and wrote the stories after she told them the stories and stuff.
yeah.
So like it's always known that she's meant to be Wendy, but obviously the actual Peter Pan thing is meant to have been,
Wendy Moira, darling.
yeah, meant to be kind of made up sort of thing. But he goes to bed, like the kids get put to bed, and Peter gives Jack the watch, and he's like, you keep, this will keep you safe. You're the man here. And you're kind of thinking, what the hell's that watch gonna do?
I love here though that he walks into the room after obviously screaming at them and whatnot, and the window's open. What have I told you about this?
Yeah,
Never
keep the
leave the
windows
window.
closed.
But did you notice when they close the window, the latch on it is a hook?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That I love that it's a little hooked latch, which is
Yeah,
something that you would have had back then as well.
but it's so simple and so perfect.
Yeah, and then obviously we see them go off to this event for Wendy.
This bit
Peter's,
gets you right in the feelers, doesn't it? This speech gets you right in the feelers.
it's when he's doing the speech, and he's doing a horrible speech at the start because he's trying to read something that was pre-written for him and stuff, and he eventually just realizes, like, listen, I'm not good at this, and he makes the joke of, normally I'm doing this in front of a lot of lawyers and stuff, but
Yeah,
this time, we're all here, like, we don't have anything in common. And then he's like,
apart from her.
but it's like he doesn't even realize that either. He's like, we've nothing in common here. I'm a lawyer, but Wendy took me in, taught me how to read, taught me how to write, all this, and then just somebody else stands up and gives an applause, and somebody else stands up, and they're all.
It's not even an applause, is it? He goes like that.
Yeah, and then the applause kind of starts after that, and Peter's like,
It's obviously every kid that she's fostered out all kind of stands up.
Yeah, they're all one of her lost boys, like, and this is when Peter realizes, like, I suppose we do have more in common than we thought.
Yeah, they're naming the wing of the hospital after.
Yeah, and then there's this big chilling wind comes through the windows and stuff, and I like this because Wendy,
she knows.
she feels it, but like she doesn't associate it directly with that. She just knows there's been a big wind. And back at the house, we can see the dog outside barking.
Yeah,
and Toodles wakes up and he hears the barking.
And he's like,
but
woof,
he
woof.
hears woof, hook, hook. And,
yeah, it's like woof, 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 hook,
yeah,
hook.
And he knows, Toodles has battled Hook enough times. He knows the scale here.
He knows the stick.
Yeah, but
I love the green light, and you see the door, and then it goes back to that hook latch.
Yeah,
and it's rattling.
Yeah,
and then it just goes up.
Then they get home and they see, they get in, and the front door is kind of like opened, and they're like, what the hell's going on here? And they bump into Lisa or Liza or whatever you want to call her, and she's like, he took the kids, I couldn't stop him. And we see the marking up along the wall, which I think is great. He's dragged the hook up along the wall, which is in a lot of horror films. You used to see the guy drag the knife along the wall and stuff.
It was the typical Candyman one.
Yeah, and I liked that little throw in there, like, we'll just throw this in, but he does it with his hook this time.
So yeah, it's quality, and it's not like a straight line either. It's jagged. He's like,
yeah, because he's walking up the stairs and stuff,
Yeah.
But then they get into the room, and they see the kids are gone, and they find the note that, you know, I've
The
taken your kids, Peter.
one bit here is like Liza has just told him that he took the kids, right? But they go up and still maintain to lift up the blankets to see if they're there.
I suppose that's just the thing of hope, though, isn't it? Like, please tell me this isn't real.
But they're looking at each other, and then next thing you know, Maggie Smith or Wendy closes the door over.
And she kind of collapses into the chair, and explains to them, you know, this is.
Well, it's not even that, Joe. When she closes the door and you see the note held up with the dagger.
Yeah, and it says, you know, Captain Hook, Captain James Hook, have taken your kids, and you'll have to come and battle me to get them back.
I request your immediate attention.
but no one else can remember it, you know. They're all like, oh, they called the police and everything, and the police are like, well, it must be some, you know,
someone taking the piss.
Yeah, someone's taking the piss. Like, it's someone that knows the story and stuff, because why else would they say that?
Yeah.
But,
well, they run that premise off in loads of movies, don't they?
Yeah.
Someone knows the story and it's a copycat, which it worked very well.
Yeah, but Toodles tells them. Toodles comes in and he's not taking any messing around. He's like, Hook is back. And they're like, yeah, all right, mate, you've lost your marbles. Off you go.
I love this though, where he comes in. He's like, got to fly, got to fight, got to crow.
Yeah, all the stuff that, you know, like,
it's one of the only Peter Pans that actually do the crow though.
Yeah, it is. I don't.
The cartoon. I don't think they do it in the cartoon.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think they do it in the cartoon either.
Yeah. They do it in the book.
Yeah, obviously in the book they do it. But I like that Wendy then explains to him, like, no, you are Peter Pan.
Peter Banning.
And he's like, no, I'm Peter Banning. She's like, no, you're Peter Pan. And he won't accept it. So he goes upstairs into the room and he's just kind of.
But it's not even that, Joe, when they're looking at the book and she sent the missus downstairs to get tea. Yeah. And you see him standing there with his hands on his hip and he's like, look.
Yeah, look the way you're standing. And he's like, get away from me. And he goes back up the stairs. And this is when we find Tinkerbell comes and finds him.
Gets plastered.
Battering him around.
Yeah, he gets plastered though.
Yeah. I like this though, that she does the whole thing of, he says fairies aren't real and she collapses.
She pretends to die.
And he's like, every time someone says fairies aren't real, a fairy dies. And you have to clap to bring me back and stuff.
You pixie firefly from hell.
But she knocks him out and puts him in the the sheets.
Oh yeah, I love this.
Flies him out the window.
She never actually tells if she's faking that scene or.
Yeah.
Is it her meant to be actually dying?
Yeah, they never reference that, but she flies him off, and when he wakes up, he's in Neverland around by all these pirates.
Yeah, and he's like, what do you do? He gets up, slump the shoulder, drool, walk with a dead leg.
Yeah, and they go to meet Hook, and I love Smee is bringing the Hook out, and everyone's looking at that Hook, all cheering for him,
bringing it to get sharpened.
No, he's bringing it back from getting sharpened.
Bringing it back from getting sharpened. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all cheering him on
all the hookers. Smee's coming, ladies.
so good.
Smee, you good old dog. Yeah.
He plays his part brilliantly in this.
Bob Hoskins is brilliant though.
The cowardly little, suck up.
Yeah, and then he's like walking along, and everyone's coming.
But they get onto the boat. He puts the hook on and everything, and then Peter gets there, and he's like, give me my kids back. And he's like,
I love the opening scene here though, where like when you see him for the first time, and it's the thunder and lightning, or the lightning when he puts the hook on.
Yeah, and it like pans up his whole body as well, And
it comes out then he's talking, he's like, who went to thing and brought Pan's kids back? And like, you didn't. Who didn't believe me?
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, you. And everyone's like, me? And it comes to Peter and your man.
Yeah, and he puts your man in the box.
Boo box.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to go in the boo box, man.
Yeah.
Did not look
small
nice.
Box with a couple of scorpions.
Yeah, did not look like that'd be much fun now at all.
No, they're gonna keep stinging you. I know that firsthand.
Yeah. But Peter steps up and he's like, those are my kids, I want them back. And he's like, you're not Peter Pan, you're old.
So I was reading a bit on this when we said we were gonna do this. Apparently that whole scene is completely ad-libbed.
That just makes it even better, doesn't it?
Where he's like with Robin Williams, he's like, "You're Peter." No, what is there? Is there an echo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so good. And knowing that that's ad libbed is just
yeah.
even better.
Your Peter, and then even Bob Hoskins got in on it. Like,
Yeah,
he's
they're
like,
all having the crack. Like,
do you want me to show you the scar
yeah, that's my
from the Battle
appendix.
of Tiger Lily? Yeah, it just
I
perfectly explains it. Like,
got my appendix out.
now why the scar in your appendix is like a little hook, I don't know, but
Yeah, that's just the way it is. But he eventually strikes a deal. He's like, if you can get your kids down from up there, you can go home for free. No, like I won't stop you. But
fly up and touch their hands. Yeah,
Peter can't even do that.
he's afraid of heights, man.
Yeah, terrified man.
Now, fair play to him. He still gets out on that mast.
He does try. I wouldn't say he tries his very best. He
Like, he could have went
tries.
further out in the
Yeah,
mast
like
as well.
he could have gone out further. But then Tinkerbell makes the agreement of, give him 7 days, 3, 4. Okay, 4 days and you'll have your war. I'll
No,
get
what
him trained
was
up.
it? 7 days, and he's like 2 days.
I can't remember. Yeah, but they argue. They
Four.
said
We
they
need
said,
four for at least a decent pan.
yeah, I need 4 for a decent pan. And she takes him off to visit the Lost Boys, and Hook keeps the kids.
And you see the mermaid and all here.
Yeah,
Where he gets bounced off the plank.
yeah, very good, isn't it?
And he goes up in the is the big giant clam shell. It's so the set is so well done.
Yeah, it's really really well done.
Yeah.
But he ends up like he wakes up the next morning and he's in this like tree house basically.
Yeah.
Some yoke now. Like when I was a kid, I was like, imagine living there. Like,
He falls down as well.
Yeah, but this is when we meet all the Lost Boys.
Play.
Yeah, come on, play. They're just
Bouncing the ball off his
bouncing the
head.
ball off his head and just running skateboarding around him and
Yeah.
chasing him on the
Oh, where are your parents?
yeah, chasing him on
Oh.
the thing where Rufio's chasing after him and stuff. It's just so good.
What is it? Where are your parents? Oh, all adults are pirates. We kill pirates.
Not me. I'm a lawyer. Kill a lawyer.
They're running and the music, and he's on like the wind. It's like a equivalent of a wind surfboard with wheels.
Yeah, Rufio's chasing him down on that. It's so good.
Yeah, and they're like skateboarding up and down, playing basketball and everything.
Yeah, and I love like at first it's just all the young kids kind of around them, and then he's like, "Who's in charge here?" And that's when you see Rufio, and they're like, "Rufio, Rufio." Oh, it's just so good.
Yeah,
Like
that's the one. I think that's one of the one lines everyone always remembers from this movie. Rufio. Oh,
yeah, it's so good. Like, and then
but like it's not even just them that use it. Hook uses it as well.
yeah, I like that. They're eventually Tinkerbell comes out and she's like, "No, Daddy, this is Peter Pan." And the one kid comes over and is like mushing at his face for ages. And he's like, "Ah, there you are, Peter."
I love it. I love it though, where he's on like the skateboard thing, and like Tink's trying to talk to him, and he's like trying to brush her away, and on just
Yeah, Rufio, yeah, get away from me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the smallest one.
yeah, they kind of eventually they're like, right, we'll try and train him up, and this is when we get the training montage of
all the paint.
them throwing paint at him, like firing paint at him, and
How good are the notes now when he's in the slingshot?
yeah,
Think of your happy thoughts. What's a happy thought? Not being in the slingshot.
shot.
Buffer flies.
Yeah, butterflies are like
Breakfast. Everything is spelled wrong.
Yeah, no, they have so much stuff, and like they're just
What was it? Horsies, and it's spelled Seees.
yeah. But while all this is happening, Hook is obviously over there, and he devises this plan with Smee after contemplating suicide.
Yeah, that's a real dark scene in this. Actually, I forgot. You forget how easy that comes into it.
Yeah,
He's like, "I'm done, Smee, and I'm done," and he's like,
don't
"Don't
even
try and stop me."
Smee,
He
get
just
over
does-
here. I love where he's like, "Don't try and stop me, Smee. Don't even think about trying to stop me, Smee. Get up. You better get up and try and stop me, Smee.
Get off your
Smee,
fat ass!
Smee."
I'm committing suicide.
And I love when Smee eventually does stop me. He's like, "Thank God, Smee, never scare me like that again."
Sorry,
you're like,
Captain.
you're like, hang on, no, Smee is meant to be the one that's scared that you were gonna. No, hang on, there's been a switch of roles here.
Yeah, like I love how when he's trying to wrestle the gun away from me, he shoots his own ship.
Yeah,
And it sinks.
But they
like
devised the plan.
when it goes down on fire, you can actually hear it sizzling.
Yeah, they devised the plan. We'll make the kids love you, and
Genius idea.
it works for one of them. It
Yeah.
works for Jack because he's obviously a bit disillusioned with his parents.
He falls very quickly though.
Yeah, like Maggie doesn't fall at all.
Yeah, but I suppose Neverland has its own time frame.
It does, but I think there's also the thing that, Jack was kind of in a bitter mood when he got taken over there, whereas
Yeah,
Maggie is still that bit younger, where she still idolizes her parents completely.
yeah, she has the song.
Yeah, and like Jack is probably, you're talking what, he's probably meant to be like 9 or so in this.
No, I'd say he's probably older. I'd say he's probably 10, 11.
Yeah, like 9 or 10 or whatever, and you're kind of like, that's when kids are starting to get a bit, I don't want to be around mum and dad all the time, sort of thing.
So you want to try to take that up with my 5-year-old?
Yeah, well, he's just a weapon unto himself, that lad.
Right,
Uh,
lad, so he is.
yeah, no, he is, but no, he devised the plan. He has the little baseball game with the
I
set
love
up, run home, Jack, run home.
I,
No,
lo-
you idiots.
I love this though. Like the Lost Boys have devised a plan to steal the hook.
Yeah, steal his hook while he's at this baseball game.
Yeah, because he took it off to put on
The baseball miss, yeah.
yeah.
But
Uh,
run home, Jack,
and
run home. He's like,
he has
no,
it.
switch it around. Oh, home run, Jack. Yeah. That's what it should have been.
I love it. Then you see a man stealing second, and he gets shot.
Yeah.
No,
But
no, no, no.
we're playing this by Jack's rules. But just before they get over there, this is when they get Peter back to being Peter Pan, and it's at the dinner table where they're all sitting there, and he's like, "What's this? What's this? You gonna eat that?" And Toad has the big burger, but there's nothing there, and he's just like,
And then he has the name calling
"Yeah,
thing with Rufio.
bangerang, yeah,
Yeah.
bangerang,
What is it? Mung Dong Tong.
yeah."
It's just kind of a fifth grade school teacher and all.
You're a geography teacher. But it eventually all comes down to him flicking
Yeah.
the what he thinks is nothing, and then it hits him, and it's just this colored paste.
It's supposed to, it looks like potato with food dye or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it's meant to be. Do you know, like, obviously when Toad is eating, it's meant to be a burger and stuff. I don't know what that's meant to be. Like,
Mashed potato.
I don't know, because it's all
But
these multicolors. You're like, what
It's the
the hell is
same.
that meant
It's
to
the
be?
same color as the paint that he landed in.
Yeah, and they just get into this massive food fight, and that's when
Yeah, he
the
picks up.
pan, yeah, the pan is back, and they go and steal. Well, they go to steal Hook's hook.
Well, yeah, you get that scene though with the coconut. Do you remember they're having the food
Oh
fight
yeah,
and Rufio fires the coconut
yeah, he
and
slices it
he
down.
hops up on the table and they throw him a sword and he slits it straight in half and you're like, oh yeah,
Oh, he knows what
that
he's
is
doing.
he's back.
Yeah, but they go back, and this is Peter's kind of, and I noticed this a bit through the film. Every time he becomes a bit more Peter Pan, he kind of forgets about his kids and his family. He forgets about all that. He's very much just back to being who he was.
It's very strongly written that way because like that's what it is. If you're in Neverland, you forget about everything.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
keep seeing it happen, but then obviously he sees Jack and Hook have formed this relationship, and he runs back to
Yeah,
the
the cave. Well, it's the river. He's trying to fly off the rock.
yeah, he's trying to fly, and he
He-
can't
I love how
remember his happy thought at all.
I love how he gets up on the high rock and he's like, yeah. No.
No, okay, get down one. And he can't remember his happy thought at all. And it's Toad that kind of helps him here, because he's like, oh, I remember my mother. And he starts explaining about his mum, and he's like, I have Toodles marbles. And
Well,
you're like,
that was after the food fight. Yeah,
yeah, and you're like, look at
He-
this
he's-
prick.
he's thinking
Stealing.
about it.
You're like, look at this prick stealing Toodles marbles, huh?
He didn't lose them. No, he left them here.
He really did lose his marbles.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
he did.
But sure, if he left them there, how did he get home? Because they help him to fly.
No, well, his marbles are his happy thought, so he probably still remembered them then.
Yeah.
know? But,
and then like you see him at the river, and he's
He's trying to
in.
fly, and he just cannot fly at all. And eventually,
The scene there though, well, not even that though. The scene where you see him looking into the sea.
yeah,
Well, the river,
the little
and
pond thing, yeah,
and it's like it shows the younger Peter Pan,
yeah,
and then the next thing you know, the ball hits him. The ball from Jack's home run.
yeah, and then it opens the little doorway where like this is where Wendy was, and this
But yeah,
is where
you get his shadow going.
it's very good. It brings you back to oh, here's the old story of like
Him trying
This
to catch
is-
his shadow.
we used to live in that little thing. That's where Wendy and Michael and all stayed, and this is how all this happened. And he starts remembering his old life. He remembers his mother, then he remembers, the first time he met
Tink.
Wendy and stuff.
Well,
And
it's Tink. He remembers Tink bringing him there.
yeah, and he remembers all of that. And then he's like, oh yeah, and then I went to see Wendy, and I kept going back, and she just kept getting older until I decided to stay there. And then it's eventually it's his kids that are his happy thought eventually in the end that help him fly.
You don't even notice, but it's done so easy. And next thing you know, you notice he's flying, and you're like,
yeah, he's just raising up bit by bit by bit.
Yeah,
it is. It's very, very good.
And then he loses it and he starts to fall. Like, just remember it.
Just remember, and then he eventually does. He flies around. No bothers to him then.
Yeah, it is still one for me where I'm like, I still get a little bit of shivers. I'm like, yeah.
This is when he learns to do everything again. He can fly. He can fight. He can crow.
Well, yeah, you don't know that he can crow until he lands back with the Lost Boys.
Yeah, and then he starts it all. There is the little scene with Tink where he she's in her little, I don't know what it is, like a little dollhouse sort of thing, I suppose.
No, it's a clock, a little clock.
Yeah. And she's like, she's telling them how she misses him, and she has his driver's license and all in there.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that story is always kind of that Tinkerbell was kind of in love with Peter Pan.
Oh yeah, well, everyone knows that, but like having his license, so it means she's gone and seen him.
She's kind of stolen it off him, yeah.
The man had to buy a new license.
Yeah, well, he was a rich lawyer, Greg.
I suppose.
But yeah, we get to see Tinkerbell, go big in this one.
She's like, she wishes her only wish for herself.
Yeah, and she's like, this is the first time I've ever been big enough to feel these big feelings and stuff. It's a good little scene, but like it just kind of bypasses that very quickly then.
Well, it does, but it shows that point that you made where he's starting to forget, because when she goes to kiss him,
yeah,
he goes for it, and then he's like,
Moira.
Yeah. And he's like, I remember.
Yeah, and this is where he keeps remembering bits and pieces of things. But it then gets to the final day, time for a battle. And
I love the montage of them all getting ready and all.
Yeah,
they're walking through like spider web things and all.
I love when he flies in though, and he cuts the hole of himself in the ship's like sails.
Did you
and they're all like,
notice
who is it?
They're
all like, who is it? Who is it? And you're like, what do you mean, who is it? Who the hell else is going to be up there cutting things in your sails?
Did you notice the mistake with it though?
No, what is it?
So when he cuts the silhouette out.
Yeah.
So obviously up on the thing, it's cut out and just a shape for him to fly into. But when they hold up the cutout, it even has his legs cut out of it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but I do like he just floats in. I love that. The hands on the hips. It's a great little scene, and he's like, he's back. My
great and worthy nemesis.
And he just starts battering all these like nobody pirates.
I love it that where he flies up and he's standing there, and Jack is standing there.
Who's that man?
Yeah, who's that? So Jack is obviously completely forgotten now.
He has, but he's also starting to remember it. Like when he sees Peter, he kind of remembers him. Like he knows him.
Who's that? Who's that man, Captain?
Yeah,
it's a nobody. So
the one thing we did miss here with when Hook is forming the relationship with Jack is when he hears the little clock ticking. And they smashed them all up. Jack loves that now, smashing his dad's little pocket watch up.
Man, that was a nice little pocket watch too.
Smashed it up, no bother to him. But yeah, we get the big battle. Peter is just battering these nobody pirates until they eventually surround him.
Well, the opening scene there where he has that one cross with Hook.
Yeah.
And like the sparks come, and then he steps back and he backflips down the stairs, and they're all just there.
But like when they surround him, you're just kind of like, yeah, obviously here comes the boys, and he gives the crow, and the lads come out and like thud rolling down the stairs.
They all swing onto the thing, and then
he holds his leg, cannonballs down the stairs, and then they have the egg shooter and the thing that he just spins around, and it's just shooting everyone around him. And Lost Boys lights, hit the deck.
Yeah, the lights and everything.
Yeah, it's so good, and the whole fight's just kind of going on, and the Lost Boys are just creaming them.
And then we see Rufio.
Well, we see Rufio about to take on Hook, and Pan runs up, and he's
No,
like,
but like you see Rufio on the way up. He's even fighting with people
yeah,
on
just
the way up.
dispatching people handy
Yeah,
enough, and he's ready to go one on one with Hook.
yeah.
And Peter interjects, and he's like, no, I'll take him. And
The
then
old
he
man's
hears,
mine.
yeah, but then he hears Maggie calling,
Yeah,
so he runs off.
he
Fair play
flies
to him.
off.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair play to him. He's like, I better go save my daughter here. Like,
And then this is what I was saying to you earlier. This is where Hook uses the Rufio.
yeah,
Like, Rufio.
oh, yeah,
He baits him into it.
he does, yeah, and you can see Rufio's dying for the fight as well. Like he's ready to go.
He's jonesing for it. Is
Yeah,
now I
but
do like the fact that he's given Pan back his sword. We
yeah,
kind of missed that as well.
he gives him back his original. Yeah, you are the Pan.
Yeah, and he draws the line.
Yeah, but I like that. Hook doesn't just dispatch of Rufio with ease either.
Yeah, he's as good a swordsman as Pan is.
Yeah, it's quite a good one, and eventually Hook just gets the upper hand on him.
It wasn't even that. It was like a misdirection kind of thing that got him.
Yeah, he swings around under him, and just as he goes for a shot, Hook just gets one in first.
He stabs him in the chest. Yeah.
What I like here is that while all that's happening is Peter's off at rescuing Maggie, but he runs in, and one guy they're face to face with the sword, and he goes, "Aren't you Peter Pan?" Out
He
the
just
window.
hops out the window, and then Maggie's like,
My
Dad?
dad is Peter Pan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go back, and Jack kind of starts remembering here.
And he takes his wig off.
Yeah, and Peter beats him in like the little duel, and he's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna leave with my kids."
Let's go home.
Yeah, and they go down, and he's like, they have the big battle out on the streets and stuff like that.
Well, even just before that, when he lands with the two kids, he leaves them with the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And Captain Hook gives the speech where he's like, "It's even if it's your children's children, as long as I'm around, there'll always be notes left in the door with there'll be notes left in the door with signed Captain James Hook."
Yeah, so he has the big final one-on-one with him here.
And then you get the infamous line, "What do you want? Just you."
Yeah, it's it's a good little fight scene. Like, it's not that long, but
Yeah,
you kind of see Peter's like dancing away from him, and you can kind of see you can see why Peter always gets the best of him as well, because he's clearly just better than him.
You're you age well. For a 10-year-old, I'm huge.
Yeah, for a 10-year-old, you were huge.
Yeah.
But Peter eventually beats him. Like, he knocks the wig off him, knocks the sword to the side, and he's like, "You took my hand. At least give me my dignity."
It's just fair.
Yeah, and Peter does, and instead of killing him, he's like,
He rakes him with the hook.
well, he kind of says it to him. He's like, "Listen, what would the world like?" Hook kind of plays on him, and he goes, "What would the world be without Captain James Hook?" And he's like, "You know what? Yeah, you can live.
You take your ship and you get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you never bother me, my family, or the Lost Boys again." And he goes to walk off, and that sneaky Hook attacks him from behind.
Yeah, with the sword.
Yeah. But it doesn't work out too well for him, because that big dead crocodile falls down on him.
Well, to be fair now, Pan gets a bit of an assist here with the clocks.
He does, yeah. But like,
and then he pushes the hook straight through the crocodile. Now,
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure why or how this makes any sense. This is probably where it gets
he
marked down a
disappears.
bit.
He just disappears.
Yeah,
Crocodile eats him.
The crocodile's dead, right?
Yeah.
And when he puts his hand in, like, the gas comes out, and it's like the crocodile wakes up.
Yeah, but it's clearly dead, like, for years. Yeah, it's kind of a stupid thing. Like,
now, I think they left that to make a second one.
If they wanted to, there was something there to be left for another one. But like, the Lost Boys are like, "He's gone," and they're all like, "Oh, he's dead."
I love that, though, where he walks in, he looks under, and he's like, "He's gone," and it just echoes.
Yeah, I like that the whole time this was happening as well, Smee has just been stealing the stuff off the ship and leaving.
I'm just getting a couple of your personal effects.
Yeah, and I'm just getting some quick stuff here. But yeah, now the crocodile kills him, and Peter brings he tells Tink to bring the kids back home. And he has to decide who's going to be left in charge here now. I like this, when he's gone. Yeah, but I like when he's gone up and down them, and he's pointing the sword at one and then the other, and they're all like, "Yeah, I'm going to be the new one."
Yeah.
And obviously it gets left to Thud in the end.
Yeah, he's like, "You're the biggest."
Yeah.
So you look after everyone smaller than you, and then the smallest lad who actually believed in him.
Yeah.
What do I look at? You look after Neverbugs.
Yeah. And you know,
Thanks, pal.
yeah, thanks. I'll look after the nobodies. Yeah. All right, thanks. But he takes the marbles and flies his way home.
Yeah.
And I like this. Like he gets home and the next day you can see the mother. It's the next day, like the mother Moira wakes up and she's just like, sometimes I can still hear them in their bed. I just wish that they'd be in there. And
You can tell she drank herself to sleep.
yeah,
The way it's done.
They don't say it, but like as you get older, you can kind of see it that that's what's happened.
Well,
here.
like you knew that's what Peter was doing when he got picked up, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she's like, imagining where's my kids and stuff. And they pop up out of the bed.
I love how scared she gets.
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose you would be scared. They weren't
she
there.
actually acts that pretty well, like the pure fear, and then it's like
joy
overcoming emotion. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that, Peter doesn't get back to there. He wakes up on this park bench surrounded by booze and stuff. And Smee is there. You gotta get home soon. The wife won't be happy with you.
Yeah. And he just hops over the wall. He tries to flip over the wall.
Yeah, he's still, because he still has the idea that he is Peter Pan, like.
Yeah.
But he's clearly lost it all. And I love this. He lands and he hears the phone ringing and he digs it up like a dog. Yeah. And what's your man's name? Bob, is it?
Brad.
Oh yeah, Brad.
Oh, Brad, yeah. Neverland. Captain James Hook. Big fight.
Just fought Captain James Hook. He just hangs up on him. Yeah, good.
Gotta go climb a lamppost.
Yeah. And he gets up and he's at the window and, he's looking in and he can see the happy family and all there and knocking on the window. They eventually let him in.
I love how Jack comes to the window and he's like, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want? But I love when he opens the window and his like, again, he turns back to strict dad. What did I tell you about this window? And they all look like, oh my God, how is he going to give out? We just let him in the window. And he's like, always leave it open.
No one leave it open, man. It's snowing out there.
Yeah, it would have been cold out there.
Yeah.
But I love like everyone's back. Wendy knows that this is what happened. Moira still doesn't really believe the whole Captain Hook thing.
Yeah, she's gone past it.
Well, I mean, she just thinks it's a story, because.
And then it happens.
But then Toodles finds his marbles.
Single happiest moment in this movie.
I found my marbles. I knew I didn't lose them.
Yeah.
And he like shakes the bag empty and there's still some fairy dust in there.
And off he goes.
But before that happens, he gets one line in and he's just like, I missed the fight. I missed the fun again, didn't I, Peter? Which a lot of people might not have really caught the reference to that. But in all of the stories of like Peter Pan and stuff, Toodles is
everything.
He's always like sick or he stays back to protect people or he does this and he always misses the adventures. Always, like, so it's a good little throwaway line.
He was sent back from the Battle of Tiger Lily as well.
Yeah, because he was sick or something, or he got hurt.
Yeah.
So he missed the great adventure. But like, yeah, he
if you don't know, if you haven't read the stories,
yeah, it's
just another line.
It's just another line. I missed the adventure, and it's like, yeah, of course you did. But this is where you knew he was one of the Lost Boys, and now off he goes, flying out the window. And I love that it just ends with him just flying around.
And wasn't it? Doesn't he go over another couple and they start to fly?
I think they levitate a little bit, but they don't actually fly. But he's just flying around having a great time. Yeah,
he's on his way. Was it second star on the right, straight on till morning?
Second star on the right, and then straight on till morning. Yeah. That's it. That's how you get to Neverland.
That's where Toodles was going.
I think so. Yeah.
I love how like they leave it there, right? So you think he's gone back to live with them then, right?
Yeah, but he's never forgotten either.
No,
that's the thing. He's always remembered the like Neverland, whereas Peter actually forgot it. Like,
yeah, you choose to forget it though, really.
Yeah, he kind of didn't want to believe it anymore, so he just kind of forgot it. This as a film, just so good. I don't understand how anyone could dislike this.
This is one of them movies. Like he done a few of these movies around this time, and it's just like his work is amazing.
Yeah, no, this is one of my favorite films that like he's ever done.
This is probably my favorite Robin Williams film.
It's definitely the one I've watched the most.
Yeah, this or Jumanji.
I'd say I'd say I have this ahead of Jumanji. Now I do love Jumanji,
Oh
but
no, well, this is the one I've watched the most,
yeah,
but those would be the two for most people.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Jumanji should probably be
Maybe
second.
Aladdin, but that's a voiceover.
Oh yeah, I've probably seen Aladdin a good bit, but this is the one where
Yeah,
you remember him, and like even the character of Rufio, like that's everyone who's ever watched this remembers who Rufio is and stuff. Like
yeah.
it's a classic of a film.
Yeah, like even just some of the lines, like as I said earlier, the one where he's going to fight Captain Hook. Captain Hook's like, "What do you want?" Or Peter's like, "What do you want?" Just you.
Yeah,
I use
no,
that. I use that so much.
yeah, no, it's definitely it's one of my all time favorite films. Like and it's
What
great. It's when you can sit down. Like I don't know, have you put this on with the kids yet? They're
I
probably
tried to watch it last year with Finn, but he had no
it's
interest.
yeah, not cartoony enough sort of
Um,
thing. But like I'd
but
say another year or two and you'd be able to
well, not
sit
even
down and
that
watch it.
now. Haven't brought him to see Ghostbusters there on Halloween.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you might be able to get sit
I
down.
might get him to do it now.
Yeah.
I know his mommy tried to get him to watch the one with Hugh Jackman as well.
Uh,
Just,
no, forget that one. This will always be the best of the Peter Pan
like
films to me.
this is a kid's version of an adult movie, really.
Yeah, this will always be my favorite of like the Peter Pan sort of ones. But
Well, yeah, I'd rate this 100 times better than the cartoon even.
yeah, I do like the cartoon, but this is easily the best adaptation of it I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. Like there hasn't been anything even close to it.
No, nothing.
But like yeah, it's the movie. Like we like everyone says, oh yeah, we lost the thing. You don't actually realize how great of an actor Robin Williams was.
Until you see
So,
stuff like this,
like
yeah.
after he passed away, I went back and watched a lot of his movies. Like some of them are hard watches. Like Patch Adams isn't easy to watch.
Yeah,
Goodwill Hunting and things like that. But like it's just his diversity was just amazing.
the more he got into acting, the better he got at it. Like when he first got into acting, it was just pure comedy.
And it was raw, yeah.
Yeah, but it did improve massively as he went along.
Yeah. The likes of this, Jumanji, Patch Adams, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Like you can see him growing throughout them.
Yeah, there's a few that like there is a few that aren't great as well, but there's a few horrors there, but yeah, there's a lot more good than there is bad, I think, in the overall scheme of it.
Well, Flubber was terrible.
It was, yeah. But like even acting wise, I think his acting is better overall than it is bad. I think he has more good films than he does bad films.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, and a lot of his films are all enjoyable.
Yeah, I think most of them are very lighthearted and easy to watch, and you can sit down and watch most of them, and they're just a joy to watch all the time.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week.
This is one movie that I wouldn't like to see redone now.
No, I'd never. We did do a recast on this, but I wouldn't want. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it redone now.
No, unless you can bring Robin Williams back, don't do it.
No, they tried it with Aladdin. It was too hard. Like I don't think in the new Aladdin that Will Smith did that badly. It's
just different.
It's just you're going to be compared to the original, and the original is him.
Which isn't really fair either, though, because the original is a cartoon.
Yeah, but even if it wasn't, you still know that Robin Williams is the greatest of that genie. Like no one was ever going to be able to do it as well as he was.
Yeah,
I mean the part was pretty much written for him.
Yeah, he's just like he was the '90s generator, '90s era of genius.
Yeah, no, he was absolute quality. But that's it for this week, and we'll be continuing on with our '90s films now for the next next 3 weeks after this. Anyway,
the next one mightn't be as lighthearted as this one.
No, I don't think any of them are as lighthearted as this one. This is the easy going one.
We tried to go kind of one of every different kind of genre that we could think of. Horror.
We've moved through everything bar kind of horror. But until next week, good luck.